guess, and Paige Wood, otherwise known as the Peach Kings. Thank you for doing this.
Our pleasure.
Thank you for making the drive.
Yeah, I'm a real big fan. So
yeah, we drove all the way to be here too.
Yeah. So, 3-piece group out of Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard you described as rock noir, gypsydelia. What would you guys describe your
Those are
sound?
it's always been a struggle to put a definition or a descriptor on it.
Make the box too specific.
Yeah, I mean, when you say, like, if you're looking for us, you might find us in, like, alternative music, but that kind of has when I think of alternative, I think of kind of 90s alternative, even though it's 2016.
Yeah.
But it's rock. It's pretty straightforward rock that has a lot of influences behind it. So
our influences are all over the map. I feel like everybody's own personal music box is so specific that it's just...
I think we kind of coined gypsydelic because it's a little bit of psychedelic, little gypsy vibe, and by gypsy we're just talking like traveling band sort of thing, and that was in the early days when we came up with that, and their sound has kind of evolved.
People are kind of mad at that idea too.
Yeah, people don't like it when you make up terms like, what is that? Some people do like it, some people don't.
I can't listen to them because they're too psychedelic, even though that's not really...
They haven't listened to the music, they just read the descriptor, they're like, not into it. And they're like, all right, so how else do we describe it?
Yeah.
And rock noir is kind of just like, we are really influenced by cinema and movies and stuff like that. And the whole idea of noir, film noir, came about during a time where movie budgets and productions were really low, and so that's why you got these really stark lights, because they have like a spotlight and they can't light this whole stage up, you know what I mean? And so you end up with these really stark images, a lot of love stories, a lot of mystery,
too, which is kind of ironic because it's what we see in our head when we're in the studio sometimes.
So yeah, it's kind of just like this really stripped down, raw, 3-piece sound that a lot of people will draw comparisons to other 3-piece and 2-piece bands just out of the nature of that. And we're okay with that because we like, the Kills, we like the White Stripes, we like the Black Keys. These are all bands that have this kind of similar vibe and aesthetic, but I think that we do something a little more nuanced, not so rock straightforward. We have a little bit of soul and some jazz.
I used to sing jazz and soul music with piano, so our influences go back into like old school hip hop to Zeppelin and other acts. So it's just like this
and psychedelic
smorgasbord of yummy music that we liked. And
so, I mean, your music is very like I would agree that it's not very rock per se, and it's also, I mean, you definitely can hear a lot of different influences, and it's almost kind of like villainesque. It's like, it has some kind of like a sinister, but not all of your songs,
right?
Like, because when I first heard of you, I think the first song I ever heard was "Soon Will Be,"
right?
And that's more like a slow kind of doo-wop-y, exactly. And so I've always just been curious, is that kind of the natural evolution for your band, is to kind of go from the doo-wop-y, slow, kind of melodic to like this more rock-oriented kind of, just like more like heavy hitting.
I think it's
kind of music.
After, because a lot of the first records and songs we put out were before we had a ton of shows under our belt.
We started in a living room with 2 nylon guitars, so
it's hard to get really hard with nylons and 2-piece no drums. But as we have been playing more and more, we find it more satisfying almost to kind of get out some of that rock vibe and turn it up, and
the
especially
intensity kind of comes with the volume sometimes.
Yeah, I think it helps us kind of lose ourselves when we can kind of get loud and raw and forget about necessarily playing the right parts. More about just getting the right feelings out.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that.
But I don't think that means we're not going to play like Soon Will Be like songs, because that's, like we said, our doo-wop influences are always going to be there, and I think now it's just more like expect that doo-wop song to get to a harder place throughout the course of the music. So it's not all just, one flavor sort of thing. It's kind of really complex.
That's interesting.
Super complex.
Yeah, very complex. So you said you started out in the living room. What year was this? Because the earliest I can date your music by is like 2010. Was it way before that, or
2009?
2009 was when we started writing stuff. In 2010, I think, is when we came out with our first little trip wop EP, which was very lo-fi. It had
Recorded
simple
in
drum
friends'
machines.
living rooms. Yeah.
So the first music video you actually did was Thieves and Kings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was 2010.
Yep.
Was it?
From the date on the YouTube channel, 2010. So I mean, to go from in your living room, 2 nylon guitars to come to 2016 touring with Cyndi Lauper, what was that like? I mean,
well, it was our ultimate goal the whole time to tour with Cyndi. No, it was a total surprise, and we were so thrilled when it happened. We were on our way to South by Southwest when we got the call from our agent that Cyndi would be taking us on the road with her under the condition that we would do a 2-piece thing, keep it very small footprint, not too loud, just so that her show had a bigger impact when the full band came out. And
it's a cool, vulnerable, naked experience to go back to the 2-piece, but because it was where we came from, it was kind of like
all the songs started that way anyway, so it was kind of like, okay, let's go back to where we began. And
our sound is kind of reliant
on it.
The guitar and vocals.
Yeah, since the nylons, we've kind of really tuned in like our amp sounds and things like that, and I've got my setup to a place where I'm really happy with it. And so we brought that new sound scape into our old setup, basically.
One of our other large influences is funk, so you can't really have funk without drums.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. So, it's part of the evolution, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of jumped ahead to, touring with Cyndi Lauper, but in between, I mean, you guys have a lot of TV shows and movies picking up your music.
Yeah, we were able to hide out in our living room for a while, just doing recordings and having them placed before we got on the road, which was really great. I feel like that's the films and TV shows that we've had placed have kept us going and helped a lot with that evolution of villainesque sound.
Yeah, and Drew Barrymore put you guys on one of her V Magazine's 2012 playlist.
Yeah.
So, I mean, was there any experience in particular that that you guys are more proud of than?
All those moments are. I mean, my baby and toddler photos, I look a lot like Drew Barrymore. I was little, so I don't know if that's like a big part of why.
I'm sure she saw your baby photos and was like, oh,
no,
weird.
I've loved her forever, and similar with Cyndi.
She's one of those cool celebrities that has been seamlessly and flawlessly transitioned from a child actor to like an actress / model / filmmaker, and she's done a lot of cool music videos and stuff for like Beach House, and
she's a badass chick.
She's got good taste, and like she's never done anything to warrant negative attention. So it's like really, it's really cool that she saw us and saw something in us that she liked and wanted to kind of feature, which is a big moment. But all these big moments, they're all sort of fleeting, and we're always thinking about the next thing anyway, and not trying to live too much in past mentions or past videos. I mean, that said, though, a lot of people are still discovering our Thieves and Kings video, which was the first one that came out, and we love that, and we're not trying to distance ourselves from it, but we're just trying to move forward with this kind of a little more raw rock sound.
Was there like a moment that you knew that it was going to be big? I mean, was there like, can you recall like an instance where
I feel like
you're
anytime
like, wow,
we
like this
have
is...
that feeling. I mean, when we drove away from the end of our tour with Cyndi, I had to kind of wait to say that, but I just looked at Steven and said, okay, that all happened. You can't like sit in that for too long, because then you won't.
Right. It's like we've played with some bands, won't mention any names, but they wouldn't stop talking about the one time they opened for Third Eye Blind. And we're like, cool, okay? And then they would just get drunker and keep looping on that, and we're like, see, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that band being like, oh, we opened for Cyndi Lauper, and like, you should love us because we opened for Cyndi Lauper. It's like, that's awesome that happened, and we're so thankful that she brought us out on the road. But like I said, it was a surprise when it happened, and we took this opportunity when we saw it, and we're just keeping our minds open to the next opportunity, the next door that's going to open up.
That's awesome. Yeah. Touring it seems to be like a kind of a newer thing for your band in like the last year and a half or so, or have you guys always kind of been traveling?
We've been playing a lot of shows in LA and around California.
West Coast shows.
Some New York stuff.
About 150 shows since, or maybe more, since November this year, so it's
been a busy year.
Get the fact checkers on that.
Yeah. Feels like more than that. I know that we've done over...
It's kind of something we've always wanted to do. And we've always, from day one, thought that thing that could benefit us the most would be a booking agent who could set this thing up for us so that we could focus on making the songs good. And we were fortunate enough to get a great booking agent who's been lining up tons.
Her name is Joy,
shows.
and it's kind of ironic
Fitting,
that way. Yeah.
So yeah, it's new and exciting, and this is kind of where we want to be, is on the road. As troublesome as it can be sometimes, it's everyone who you tell you're on tour, they always get really excited for you, and they're like, I wish I could do that. Oh man, I wish I... It's like, yeah, it seems really awesome from the outside, but it's work, and we're here working, and we're making, appointments and all this sort of stuff, and this is our day job, which is hard for some people to wrap their brains around. It's like, so where are you flying out to next? We're like, flying?
Yeah.
We're driving.
Last time we saw y'all, there was ice on the ground.
Yeah.
And now 4 of us are sweating.
Yeah. It's about to rain.
Yeah, hopefully.
So yeah, it's all good. It's all fun. It's all new.
Yeah, I mean, so obviously it's a lot of work, but it's also, I mean, you're getting to kind of live the dream, kind of travel the country, doing what you guys love. Do you have any highlights or any favorable moments from doing these tours in the last year?
So many. I feel like we were talking about how we eat in a lot of diners. We eat a lot of eggs. But sometimes it's funny because inside the diners, America just feels like the same place. Uh-huh. But the fans that we've met in these different cities are so awesome, regardless if it's a sold-out show or an intimate show. Mm-hmm. That's probably my favorite thing.
I've never been to most of these states that we've gone through. I've maybe been to 4 or 5 states before these tours. Now we're up to like 45 states that I've been to in the past 4 months, and so that's kind of awesome. We live in such a diverse country with so many different landscapes that just the sheer act of going to all these places is really awesome and memorable, and something I'm going to hold on to for the rest of my life.
What kind of fans are coming to the shows? Is it kind of one group of people, or are you kind of getting from all over?
You never know.
Couple of months, our fans have ranged in age from 6 years old to mid-70s, which has been pretty awesome. It's just like, I never expected to have.
It's always fun going into a spot, and there's like one kind of like older looking dude or like an older looking couple in there. It looks like they're kind of just there having a drink or whatever, and then we're setting up, and then after the show they'll be like, we've been following you guys since 2010, and we're so excited that you guys are here. And it's just every time it surprises you who is going to say that.
One of those couples, the woman was so amazing. It's happened a few times, but this instant was especially amazing because she shook my hand and wouldn't let me look in it until she walked away, and she gave me $100 bill because she knows how hard it is to be on the road. It's just like,
Yeah, we want older, richer fans. So let's blast this out on Forbes.
Who are you guys listening to? What kind of music do you guys play on the road?
We have a cassette player in our van, so right now we've been listening to...
We got everywhere we go, we try to pop into a little like used vintage or record store. We're playing this record store right here. They have some tapes. We'll probably buy a few tapes, but we've got some Zeppelin, we've got some AC/DC, we've got some Black Angels, we've got some Whitney Houston, we've got some What else do we got? Some 60s pop hits, those compilations. We got some Hank Williams.
Some psychedelic Thai. Yeah. It's pretty broad. It's important for me to listen to different styles so that vocally I challenge myself, I guess. I feel like if I just go to one genre, I won't expand the idea of vocals, I guess.
Okay, I can understand that.
Whitney's pretty good for that.
And so, do you guys have a favorite artist right now, or are you just trying to keep it diverse and not try to stick to...
I don't think I'd be able to... If I pick a favorite and I say it into this microphone, as soon as it's off, I'm going to think of something else.
Yeah.
So, I think just like... I'll just say Black Angels for now, because that's the newest tape that we have bought. Like, it's,
I love them too.
And they're really great. And they're one of those bands that has a sound that's easily identifiable, and you know it's them when you hear them, and that's something that we admire.
And so, obviously, you guys are playing with the Heavy at some point in your tour. How was that? How did that really differ from playing with Cyndi Lauper?
Well, we had the full band 3-piece setup for the Heavy stuff, and
we love the Heavy.
That was one of the bands that we first started listening to, actually, when we were first writing music, which was totally ironic when it was a reality that we're going to be playing with them.
It's the kind of band, too, that because of that, sometimes it can be unfortunate when you meet someone that you respect that much, but they're the coolest dudes, amazing performers, really nice people. So
and their fans are like the sort of fans that we want. Like the Cyndi shows were amazing because we were in front of so many different people, but her fans are kind of a different, I don't want to say breed because it sounds like I'm dehumanizing them, but they're into different stuff. They're in a different place in their life where maybe some of them are seeing Cyndi because they were really into her in the 80s. Maybe some of them are like trying to expose their kids to it. And so we were playing those shows for half of the people in the room. The other half, they couldn't really have been much interested in us.
That's true, but sometimes because of that, we were afraid because, Cyndi fans are hardcore.
Yeah.
So, obviously, like, I'm a hardcore Cyndi fan. We'd be surprised in some of the places that people would, do the research before they would come see the opening band.
Totally. Yeah. No, I'm just saying percentage-wise, the majority of the Heavy fans are the sort of people that would like our 3-piece stuff. And so they would really amp us up when we were on stage because we could see that they were into it and we were like rocking, and it was with any show, the more into it the audience is, the more into it we are. And without the drums, it was us kind of like with each other just on stage trying to hold on by the skin of our teeth and
trying not to hear any crickets.
Right. And so it was a totally different experience, both of which were incredibly rewarding in totally different ways.
I hear you guys are making a new album. Or where are you at in that process?
Right now we're perfecting some of the songs on this tour. We're playing a lot of new music where we want to... In the past, we've done a lot of recording where we start from kind of nothing and build out the track. And that has the benefit of being able to go anywhere with it, but also the downside of maybe not being able to recreate it live. So we want to start from the live song and put that on the record and, do whatever we can without compromising that live integrity.
Basically, the pre-production has been on the road.
Learning the songs, yeah.
And
with the fans.
So you don't have any of it recorded right now. You're kind of still
some of it,
kind of testing.
Yeah. Working parts and perfecting the
finishing
vibes.
it up right when we get back. So
yeah.
And you guys live in LA right now. So right when you get back,
I haven't been there in a while. But yeah.
It's our house. We pay rent in LA, but we're never there.
Yeah. So what's it like when you guys aren't playing music? You're back in LA. What
we're just we're basically spending our days trying to just make connections with people and keep connections we've made on the road alive, and just trying to grow this network of friends and fans and potential people that would be interested.
We like to play games.
Yeah, play a lot of cards.
Time off.
Watch movies.
Yes.
So what's next? What's next for the Peach Kings?
Studio time.
Yeah. Do you guys have a name for this album?
Keeping it under wraps right now. Just because hopefully once there's a body of work there, we can take a step back. The name will kind of come out of that. We don't want to box ourselves in by coming up with a name and like, does this fit with this name sort of thing? We want the music to kind of come first and then the name to kind of grow out of that. So we're going to call this album Greatest Hits.
You got just recording, no tours, no...
There's some more fall dates that we also can't really mention yet, but... there's always a lot of... It's like a duck. You see it, it's calm on the surface. The legs are frantically kicking underwater. That's what's going on. You know, there's a lot of things happening, a lot of moving parts that aren't necessarily interesting to talk about because there are a lot of emails back and forth and just logistics and stuff like that. And so until we have something solidified, we don't want to, ruin the mystique. We got stuff in the works, though.
That's awesome. Can't wait to hear it. So is there anything else you guys want to say to people that maybe are already fans or maybe haven't heard of you yet?
I just always want to direct people to the mailing list because that helps us when we're going out on the road to let people know that we're coming. Whenever we have a new song come out, that's the surest way that you'll hear it is it'll get sent to your inbox. Yeah.
Before everybody else gets it.
We don't waste your time with, unnecessary fluff. We're not sending you like blog posts. We're just sending you the information that we think is important to dig down on some good music.
I respect that. So you guys are all over social media, Facebook, Instagram.
ThePeachKings.com. You can find it. It's the hub for all those social sites.
And so if there is any album news, anything like that, will it be announced on the website first?
Mailing list.
Mailing list first.
First dibs.
Yep. Because those people who invest in us, we invest in them, and we want to give them the first crack at anything cool so they can tell their friends, hey, look what I got before you did. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. Thank you guys so much for doing this. Learned a lot. And, we're going to hear you play in about
half hour.
Half hour.
Cool.
Sounds good. All right. Well, thanks for doing it.
Thank you.